Well, it's time for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and we've got a top 5 placement of your boy on the new Form of the Void Ulquiorra event. I want to quickly show you my choices as far as enemy mechanics go. Again, it's following a pretty simple and similar route as before. Everything but the extra defense every 5 seconds. At least for me, I think if you're a whale, you probably blitz so hard in that first 30 seconds that this doesn't matter much. But for me personally, I think with my characters leveling out at about 30,000-ish power, this feels better than this. But hey, maybe someone's got the numbers on that. For my character mechanics, if you want to attempt a run that is this high pointage as well, we've got each ailment damage triggered reduces enemy defense by 6%. We've got increases ailment damage by 20% right here. And we've got increase the character's crit rate by 20%, but each attack consumes 1% of HP until max HP is reduced to 50%. I think these are my standout ones. I wouldn't really say any of the others really interest me, though. I'm sure someone out there has run the numbers and you can find it somewhere on Reddit or Twitter or something, right? But yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's just look. How was the... Yeah, I imagine it wasn't too dissimilar, right? Yeah, even down to switching in Tosin at the end. This guy just went with all, but look at that 100, right? I mean, look how exponentially it jumps, right? So that is pretty impressive to me, at least. Can we do the battle playback? Let's see if this works. But before, when I was doing another bit of the guide series, this one didn't really function as well. But we'll see how well this works. Ooh, it's a little sloppy. It's a little sloppy. Catch him. Okay. Yeah, certainly is some oddities here. Okay, it's stabilizing out. This run it felt good, man. This felt like a good run. There are a few slip-ups where I probably could have got a bit more damage out of it. I really do wish I recorded this run live, because obviously, as you can see, there are some small issues with the capture when it comes to the replay system that the actual game has. But it looks like it's actually smoothed out quite a bit, so maybe not so much. But yeah, we missed a few counters here and there. We missed some damage windows here and there. But one thing I will suggest, if you don't have an Aizen that's super built up, I would suggest actually using the Tosin. My Tosin, if you guys remember, is not like, you know, crazy. His gear is trash. I just haven't had the stamina to sort of fill out his gear set along with everyone else's. So he has definitely been on the back burner, but he has done plenty, providing damage up to Gin himself and a supplementary source. I felt like Aizen was not doing enough, even though Aizen does support. Maybe if I had his crit damage, you know, core stamp support, I would have considered him over Tosin, but for the time being, I did find that Tosin's capabilities were shining through a little bit more. I felt like I was getting more breaks and breaking the opponent, not having to deal with Ulquiorra running around, not having to deal with Ulquiorra doing a bunch of bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, that felt more important than actually doing like damage with Aizen or anything. You can see it get caught here. This was not a perfect run by any stretch of the imagination. We get pretty fortunate on dodging the Seto with Spiritual Break, which is pretty nice. And we continue to go back into our rotation. So as you can see here, running through the 6 with my woes, we got Tosin tag teaming in, getting some damage. You can see pretty okay damage considering, like I said, Tosin doesn't really have much gear. Definitely not comparable gear to my other characters, but yeah, blitzing. I don't think this will be much of a guide this time around, just because you don't really need to hit 2 million. You don't really need to have a big old score as far as this event goes. You know, I was much more content, and I miss here. Oh, so sad. I missed the counter there, which is really bad. I was much more content to make a guide for, you know, getting those bonds so that people could actually get their you know, game completed. But with it mostly just being for bragging rights, it's not that important. Maybe I'll still make one see how far I can go on a relatively modest free-to-play. But if you pulled for Gin, if you have Tozen, if you have Ikaku, this shouldn't be too hard. If you use any of the free-to-play limited characters that they give you for free in this event, it shouldn't be too hard. Mostly the issue is just getting down Ulkieto, who on his, by his own merit. You see, I'm actually using the Bankai here, and then I use the course or the weapon here to dodge his flurry, because that attack is really tough to counter. At least for me. I've only seen this character a few times, so I'm not too used to actually fighting him. But yeah, you can see us blitzing, and we are wrapping up this fight quick, fast, in a hurry. This felt good. This felt like a really good run. Really cool to see a top 5 finish in the case of, completely free to play. It's like I said, it's fun to see stuff like that. I'm sure by the time I wake up tomorrow, it would have inflated quite a bit. But the fact that you can even place, like, even early on, even within the, I'm recording this like several hours after reset. Like, this isn't me like sneaking in the moment reset happened and being like, whoa, look, I got, no one's done the fight yet. I'm sure it will scale. I'm sure the whales will come in, I'll get knocked down, but I wonder how much I'll actually fall. I wonder how much I'll actually fall. Could I check? What was the damage stats of 6 million here? Yeah, okay. Okay. And what were mine? 9 million here, max. So pretty similar. Yeah, I'm a little less here. And 2.8 there is the total. And I got 2.1 there. Like, interesting. I wonder how much that'll actually be pushed, honestly. Like, genuinely, I wonder how much that'll be pushed. But yeah, for now, we got ourselves a little top 5 finish, which is super amusing. Honestly, super amusing. Yeah, well, here's the form of destruction where we'll definitely see a ballooning of the actual like rank once people get going. So yeah, already dropping to 6 here. Looks like that person just squeezed me out. We actually saw him down here a second ago, I think. So just squeezed me out of the top 5. The moment we were talking about it. It's so cool. But yeah, I think I could have done more, given that I want to show my Tozen, who just does not have gear. Maybe I could have done something where I handed someone else's gear over to him, which could have been funny. But yeah, level 1 gear here, nothing stats. Level 20 gear here, nothing stats. And level 10 gear here, nothing stats. These are just things I was using to get through the game. So, like I said, it's certainly not exactly a character who is, rip raring to go, but yeah, pretty cool, man. Pretty cool placement. I hope you guys are out there getting your, Bleach Soul Resonance dailies and events done. We still have at least one other thing to do before I call it a night. It's been a long one, but we push on, we persevere, we push on. Yeah. If you guys haven't, by the way, check out this Swift mode. It's pretty snappy. And you get the rewards pretty quick, and you also get the fixed rewards pretty quick, so you end up filling out this strategy index. I have been kind of lazy about the strategy index, but if you see here, some really good rewards are hiding, further down. And this resets in a few days, so if you've made it this far, take this as a reminder to get this done now that we actually do have the Swift mode. Thank God. Because this was probably the most tedious content to sort of chug through, was the Unknown Adventure. Even though I do think it's cool, to add like a Hoyoverse-esque, event. Chugging through that was particularly difficult. I'm not gonna lie. So now that we've cleared out that event, we go to 15,522. I don't think there's anything else to get in this event, if I'm not mistaken. So a pretty delicious haul. What we have now is just getting these done. We have a bunch of these to go through, and of course, I believe, yeah, we haven't done the painted path. We still gotta consume our spirit and stuff like that. But yeah, not a bad start to week 2. I'm looking forward to what week 3 is. I wonder what they're going to do. This is, again, just me sort of rambling, but I do wonder what they're going to reveal for week 3. I wonder if they're going to continue on with this idea of like, do week 1, do week 2, and then like surprise us for week 3. Because it is my assumption, at least for now, that they don't really have a firm plan concerning week 3, at least until the next few characters. Like, I don't think there's a bunch of graphics made for week 3. I don't think that when the Aizen celebration was happening, there was a bunch of graphics for week 3, right? I think that a lot of this came out of sort of a necessity from them, and a need to sort of like slow down and work around IP and what they can put in the game, what they can't put in the game, things like the Rangiku, right? So yeah, I think we're in the cruising period. Hopefully we do get a bag of rewards for week 3, but as far as week 2 goes, I'm liking it. I've been Lone though. Like if you like the video, subscribe to the club. Top 5, now top 6. 6 God and all that. I'll see you next time. Peace.